The best guy I played against might have been, Larry Bird, someone like that.
How good was
Michael
Bird?
Jordan.
I don't think people look at him and think, oh, he's a white guy, slow guy.
The chubby white guy. He wore us out, man. Because this muscle here, the one between his ears.
Yeah.
That was his best, because he made the 3-pointers and he had assists and rebounded, steals. He was always at the right place at the right time on the court. One of the great players I had the opportunity to play.
Larry Bird did something to NBA legends that LeBron James never has. He made them genuinely afraid to step on the court. Not just nervous, not just tense, but truly terrified. Magic Johnson admitted Bird was the only player who could make his hands shake before tip-off. Michael Jordan said Bird was the only opponent who really got inside his head, while Gary Payton called him the most dangerous trash talker alive. Now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has confirmed what everyone suspected but rarely said aloud. Bird reached a level of greatness that even LeBron, with all his records, rings, and dominance, hasn't fully matched. Coming from a player who faced both eras, battled Bird directly, and watched LeBron's career unfold, that statement shifts the conversation entirely. Once you hear Kareem's reasoning, it becomes clear why the greatest players still speak of Bird as something almost supernatural. What makes this so fascinating is that Kareem isn't just an old-school critic lamenting the past. He deeply respects LeBron's game. He's praised his professionalism, leadership, and remarkable 21-season career. Yet when Kareem explains what sets Bird apart from LeBron, he's talking about something beyond stats and championship rings. It's the very essence of competition, and how the game itself has shifted in ways most fans don't fully grasp. Bird didn't just dominate his era, he terrified it. And according to Kareem, there's a huge difference between being the best player on the court and being the player everyone genuinely fears. One owns greatness, the other leaves a mark that's unforgettable. Consider Kareem's perspective for a moment. This is a man who faced Wilt Chamberlain in the 1970s, one of the most physically dominant athletes ever, then went head-to-head with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson throughout the 1980s, what many call basketball's greatest era. He later moved into coaching and analysis, witnessing LeBron's entire career unfold from 2003 onward. No one alive has a clearer, longer view of how the game has evolved over 5 decades. So when Kareem says Bird did something LeBron hasn't fully matched, it's not nostalgia, it's insight. He saw Bird's psychological mastery firsthand, how arenas shifted the moment Bird stepped on the floor, and how opponents designed defensive schemes as if they were facing an entire team, not a single forward. And here's where it gets truly remarkable. Kareem once described Bird's game in a way that still sends chills. Bird played chess while everyone else was playing checkers. That wasn't just a clever line. It captured the truth. Bird could anticipate defenses before they even formed, seeing plays develop several passes ahead. Defenders thought they had him contained, only for him to drain a shot from an impossible angle or deliver a pass that shouldn't exist. His basketball IQ wasn't just exceptional, it was almost supernatural. And the most intimidating part? He'd telegraph his move and still execute it flawlessly, almost mocking you in the process. That kind of mental dominance doesn't appear on stat sheets, but every player from that era agrees. Bird got in your head and never left. LeBron, by contrast, exerts his supremacy through preparation and control, studying opponents' tendencies, memorizing plays, and exploiting weaknesses with precision. By tip-off, he has already won the mental chess match. His domination is methodical rather than psychological. LeBron has analyzed every scenario and mastered the art of preparation, which is why he's remained elite for more than 2 decades. But Kareem noticed a key distinction. LeBron makes opponents respect him, while Bird made them fear him. Those are 2 completely different psychological experiences. When Bird stepped on the court, opponents felt real anxiety. They knew he was coming for their very soul, not just the scoreboard. LeBron's presence pressures opponents to execute flawlessly. And while both approaches win games, only one creates legends that still make retired players shake their heads decades later. The context makes Bird's dominance even more impressive. The 1980s NBA was brutally physical. Hand-checking was legal. Defenders could grab and shove without penalty, and the bad boy Pistons would attack you hard enough to make you think twice about driving to the basket. Bird thrived in that wall-like environment, proving his greatness wasn't just skill, it was sheer fearlessness. In the 1980s, every team, from the Sixers to the Lakers, played a brutally physical brand of basketball. Every possession was fought for with pain and grit. There was no three-point revolution or spacing. Defenses crowded the paint, and players had to battle through bodies just to get a clean look. Bird thrived amid that chaos. He'd take elbows from Detroit, absorb hits from Philadelphia, and still show up the next night to pour in 30 points with that signature, effortless jumper. Legends like Danny Green remember those battles because they witnessed firsthand how Bird's body withstood punishment that would sideline most players today: back issues, nerve damage, chronic pain. And yet he averaged nearly 38 minutes per game for a decade straight. No load management, no skipping back-to-backs, just a relentless will that refused to let his body quit before his mind. And the stats confirm it wasn't just tough guy mythology, it was raw, measurable dominance. From 1984 to 1986, Larry Bird put up staggering numbers: 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists per game, while shooting nearly 50% from the field and 40% from three-point range. He won 3 consecutive MVPs and 3 championships in 5 years, all while facing rosters stacked with Hall of Famers, Magic and Kareem's Lakers, Dr. J Sixers, and Isaiah Thomas Pistons. That wasn't just dominance, it was dominance in the toughest possible environment. Contrast that with LeBron's entry into the league in 2003, a transformed NBA that was global, polished, and increasingly protective of its stars. Rules like the hand-check ban in 2004 and strict enforcement of defensive 3-second violations opened driving lanes and made scoring easier, creating a game environment far different from the one Bird conquered. Referees began calling fouls on even the slightest contact, shifting the entire game to favor athleticism and speed over physical intimidation. Kareem doesn't blame LeBron for this. It's just how the league evolved, but he finds it fascinating how perfectly LeBron's skill set fit the new NBA. His rare combination of size, speed, and strength became nearly unstoppable in a game that no longer allowed defenders to slow him down with contact. Kareem's point gets even more compelling when you consider LeBron's longevity. Playing at an elite level into his 40s isn't just about talent. It's also the result of modern infrastructure, advanced nutrition, recovery technology, sleep tracking, and injury prevention, all of which extend careers in ways that didn't exist in Bird's era. Teams now have huge medical staffs, chartered flights with lie-flat seats, and strategically planned off days, all designed to keep stars performing at peak levels far longer than ever before. Bird played in an era where teams flew commercial, practiced the day after punishing games, and sports science meant icing your knees in a bucket. LeBron, by contrast, benefit from a system built to protect stars and extend careers, and his discipline in maintaining his body deserves respect. But it's also a privilege Bird never had. When people point to LeBron's 21 seasons as proof of greater toughness, Kareem pushes back, asking, what might Bird's career have looked like with modern medicine, surgeries, and recovery treatments? Or if he hadn't played 82 brutal games a season in a league where opponents openly tried to injure you. Bird's body gave out at 35 not from weakness, but because surviving that era required a level of physical sacrifice that would be unthinkable today. LeBron plays at 40 thanks to protections and technology Bird could never access. Both career lengths are extraordinary, but context matters. One was forged in war, the other was earned by running a marathon with full support. Now, let's look at the numbers. Even though Kareem insists stats don't tell the whole story, they are still striking. Larry Bird played just 13 seasons, yet he averaged 24.3 points, 10 rebounds, and 6.3 assists per game, with elite shooting splits, nearly 50% from the field, almost 38% from three, and close to 89% from the free throw line. That performance put him among the first players to flirt with the Ray 50-40-90 club, a benchmark of shooting excellence that remains exceptional even today. Danny Green recalls how opponents dreaded facing Bird, not just because he could score,